Coinbase is one of the largest cryptocurrency exchanges, and unfortunately, it's the one that most beginners gravitate to when they first start investing in crypto. I say unfortunately because Coinbase costs users tons of money when they could be getting better services at a lower cost, or even no cost at all. And at the end of the day, this means that people who use Coinbase are going to see lower returns on their crypto investments than people who use other tools and platforms. In this video, we're taking a look at everything wrong with Coinbase and why it's costing you so much money. This starts with the basic crypto trading, where Coinbase tacks on fees every step of the way. Then we'll take a look at the yield offerings to earn passive income on your crypto, which fall short of everything else available. Next, we'll take a look at why the Coinbase debit card is a lackluster product compared to the competition. And finally, their newer borrowing feature rounds out their cryptocurrency platform, but it's also going to come with some hefty fees that you could avoid by going elsewhere. Of course, I will also wrap up this video with the best alternatives that I use instead of these Coinbase products so that you can save yourself money and earn more crypto. Let's take a look. Hands down, the most costly part of using Coinbase is the fees associated with buying, selling, and sending cryptocurrency. On Coinbase, the fee to buy and sell cryptocurrency can be as high as nearly 10%. Needless to say, the less you pay in fees, the more cryptocurrency you will actually be able to purchase, which will lead to higher investment returns. Therefore, the goal of any investor should be to minimize fees wherever possible, but Coinbase doesn't make this easy. For starters, Coinbase charges a flat fee on any purchase of $200 or less. On the low end, you will owe $2.99 on a $200 purchase, which is a 1.5% fee. On the high end, you will owe 99 cents on any purchase of $10 or less, which is almost 10% of your investment going to fees. So if you're someone like me who likes to dollar cost average into cryptocurrency, these fees will add up fast and could end up costing you a ton of money. The only way to avoid these exorbitant fees is to buy crypto in increments larger than $200, which is not so doable for the average investor looking to dollar cost average. And this still doesn't solve the problem of fees, because Coinbase will charge flexible percentage fees on any larger purchases. These fees start at 1.49% if you deposit cash into Coinbase or purchase directly from your bank account, and they can cost as much as nearly 4% if you're purchasing with a debit card. And these fees will be the same when it comes time to sell your cryptocurrency back into dollars, so again, they'll add up if you make multiple transactions over time. All these fees are made even worse with a price spread. This is when Coinbase will quote you a higher or lower price than the asset is actually trading for, so that they can guarantee your trade will go through. On average, this means you'll pay about 0.5% more or get paid 0.5% less when trading on Coinbase. These spreads are sort of a hidden fee that Coinbase gets to collect as profit, and again, it's less money that you're getting out of your investment. Coinbase has a decent solution for these problems with their Coinbase Pro platform, which is a more advanced exchange. You can log in with your normal Coinbase information, deposit US dollars onto the exchange for free, and then purchase crypto with just a 0.5% fee. In addition to reducing those trading fees, you can also eliminate the price spread because you'll be placing orders yourself, instead of letting the basic Coinbase trade function do it for you. However, even Coinbase Pro doesn't solve one final issue that Coinbase has, and that's withdrawal fees. When you send any cryptocurrency out of your account, whether it's to a hardware wallet, a friend, or even a crypto interest account, you'll owe network fees. Some platforms offer to cover this fee for you, allowing you to transfer for free. Coinbase does not though, which means you could pay tens or even hundreds of dollars to transfer crypto, which gets really costly for smaller transfers. Luckily, there's an even cheaper solution than Coinbase that also offers completely free withdrawals, and I'll explain it more towards the end of the video. In my opinion, one of the most attractive elements to investing in cryptocurrency is being able to earn yield or interest on your crypto assets. Many platforms are starting to offer this, and Coinbase is one of the latest to get in on the action. To earn yield, you simply hold your cryptocurrency on one of these crypto platforms, and they'll pay you a set percentage rate. The great part about this is that it's completely passive income, and it's paid out in the crypto that you hold, which means that interest can compound and continue growing over time to make you more and more money. You might be familiar with BlockFi, which is probably the best known crypto yield platform. I actually have many qualms with BlockFi, as I explained in a previous video, but Coinbase is actually even worse in comparison. The issue is that Coinbase withdrew from a true crypto interest product due to regulatory fears. Even then, they were only going to offer a measly 4% APY on the USDC stablecoin. Despite dropping this product, they still offer something similar with their crypto staking program, which allows you to lock up certain coins and earn rewards for providing that liquidity. Coinbase falls short here because they have a severely limited number of supported assets, only 6 at the moment, and the yield on those assets are all pretty low. Meanwhile, other platforms support dozens of assets and pay upwards of 10% APY on those assets, which completely puts Coinbase to shame. Obviously, I'll share my favorite at the end of this video. The next issue is the Coinbase card, which is one of many that are positioning themselves as a crypto rewards card. The first issue with the Coinbase card is that it's a debit card and not a credit card. This means you'll need to preload your Coinbase account with funds in order to use it. Alternatively, instead of loading US dollars or stablecoins into your account, you can use the card to buy things with crypto, but personally this is the last thing I would do. While there are likely people who disagree with me, my belief is that the whole point of investing in crypto right now is to save it for the future, not to spend it. If you're going to buy crypto just to spend it a couple days later, you're jumping through a lot of hoops and paying a lot of fees for no clear benefit. Plus, if you choose to purchase with crypto through the Coinbase card, they'll charge you a 2.49% conversion fee to sell your crypto assets and fulfill your purchase in US dollars. Again, more fees being added on will reduce your returns. So you can make a better case for the card if you're consistent about preloading it with dollars or stablecoins, but it's still quite an inconvenience for the lackluster rewards. Currently, the Coinbase card pays just 1% back in Bitcoin, Doge, Ethereum, or DAI, and 4% back in AMP, Rally, The Graph, or Stellar Lumens. I personally want to focus my crypto investing on Bitcoin, and 1% back doesn't cut it for me there. Instead, I'm better off using a standard 1.5% or 2% cashback credit card, putting all of my purchases on that, and then using the rewards to buy more crypto, which will be much greater than those 1% back returns. Those 4% rewards are much more appealing, but I'm not familiar enough with any of the supported currencies to want to invest in them long term. To me, the only feasible option here is to earn that 4% reward rate and then trade them into Bitcoin. But then we're going back to the beginning and paying massive fees on all of our transactions. So again, I think a better solution is just using a simple credit card and redeeming cashback for Bitcoin, at least until a solid crypto rewards card comes out. Finally, we have the Coinbase Borrow product, which enables users to take out loans against their crypto. I did a video on this a few weeks back because it can be a highly valuable strategy, especially if you want to avoid taxes on your crypto. With crypto borrowing, you can offer up your cryptocurrency as collateral and receive cash in return. By taking out a loan, you're not getting taxed on the money received, and your crypto gets to continue appreciating while it's locked up as collateral. This is a smart and tax-efficient way to use some profits from your crypto investments. However, it becomes much less efficient when the loan provider adds on a bunch of fees and places limits on how you can borrow, which is exactly what Coinbase does. For starters, Coinbase only lets you borrow against your Bitcoin, while many other providers let you borrow against a variety of assets. This gives investors limited options if they want to take out a loan. Next, Coinbase charges 8% APR on your loan value, which is on par with bank loans, but not at all competitive with other crypto lenders. Finally, with many forms of borrowing, you have something called a margin level. If the value of your Bitcoin collateral drops below this margin level due to drops in Bitcoin's price, your loan will no longer be in good standing. Most crypto lenders will then give you the opportunity to add more Bitcoin to your collateral and restore your account to good standing. Coinbase, however, will simply sell your collateral to satisfy your debt and then charge you an additional 2% fee for doing so. The best alternative here is a lender that will give you more flexibility on the assets you can use as collateral, more flexibility with margin, and lower interest rates. So let's get into the platforms that you should be using instead of Coinbase, starting with buying and selling cryptocurrency. To avoid all of the fees that Coinbase charges, I use the Gemini exchange for all of my buying and selling. They have a setup very similar to Coinbase, so it's just as easy to use for beginners. However, you're going to want to make sure you use the active trader tool for all of your trades. This is similar to Coinbase Pro, where you can deposit US dollars and then make trades at a much lower cost. The fees on Gemini Active Trader are just 0.35% compared to Coinbase Pro's 0.5%. But the standout feature of Gemini is that they give you 10 free crypto withdrawals per month. So if you want to move your crypto to another wallet and maybe earn yield, it won't cost you a cent. And speaking of earning yield, Celsius is my absolute favorite platform for earning on and borrowing against my crypto. For yield, they support over 40 assets and pay as much as 17% APY on those assets. The standout options here are Bitcoin at 6.2%, Ethereum at 5.35%, and stablecoins at an impressive 10% APY. On Celsius, these rewards are paid out every single Monday in the cryptocurrency asset that you hold. There are no lockup periods, no minimum balance requirements, and no fees to transfer into or out of the app. If you want to borrow against your crypto, Celsius offers loans at just 1% APY. You can use any of the platform's 40 plus supported assets for collateral with tons of repayment options and no fees whatsoever. And unlike Coinbase, if you get margin called, you'll have the opportunity to restore your collateral before your assets get sold automatically. Celsius is also working on a crypto rewards credit card that I believe will be extremely competitive. So I will be looking forward to that and using a standard cashback credit card in the meantime. If you want to know when that starts rolling out, be sure to subscribe to the channel because I will definitely have a video on it. If you want to get started on either Gemini or Celsius, I have links to them below, where you'll get $10 in Bitcoin for trading your first $100 of crypto on Gemini, and you'll get $50 in Bitcoin when you sign up and make a $400 deposit onto Celsius, so don't miss out on those. Finally, if you want a step-by-step guide for buying at the lowest cost and earning the highest yields on your crypto, check out this video where I walk you through the process on Gemini and Celsius. I'll see you in the next video.